Hi everyone, it's Nicole for Simon Says Stamp, and welcome to the December 2024 edition of Making the Cut. Making the Cut is my series here on the Simon Says Stamp YouTube channel where we talk about my favorite thing, die cutting, and what better project for DieCember but a die cut ornament. Now, I am making an ornament from some of my favorite Simon Says Stamp plus a few other products out there, but you could make this a gift tag or even make it a gift card holder as it's intended if you want to. It's reached that time of the season where I love crafting some gift tags out of paper, and I love finding ways to dress them up. You'll notice that I have taken the thread plaid embossing folder and we're pairing it with the amazing new stocking gift card holder die. Now this is a beautiful big scale die, perfect for tucking things into. If you want, you could make this more of a one-dimensional project and stick it on the front of a 5x7 card base, and I think it would fit beautifully. Next, we are going to die cut the elements for the toe, heel, and cuff of the stocking from some of the Luxe white velour paper. I love this stuff. It is absolutely perfect for the little cuff of our stocking, as well as creating some accents that have lots of texture. I used that thread plaid embossing folder, and now we're going to take some sage colored ink and we're going to ink it up. This is actually the new Sage cardstock from Simon Says Stamp, and it is a beautiful color that complements the reds and greens for a traditional holiday perfectly. I like that it's a little bit different color for that added interest and contrast with the rest of our elements. I've just gone around the edges with my ink. It will mute a little bit as that ink dries, but the threaded plaid embossed areas are going to catch that ink and just give some nice shading. It's actually going to end up much, much lighter than what you see here. At the top of the front of the stocking, we are going to replace it with that white velour. Oh, I just love it so much. It's so soft and plush. And then we're going to take the toe and heel portions that we die cut and put those in place. And we're simply going to just pop those down like so. And there we go. Perfect. Okay, I'm going to let that dry a little bit. It is, with that embossing, it is a little bit dimensional, so I want to make sure that I'm letting it dry. Next, we are going to take the back of our stocking. I did die cut another stocking, and we're going to run it through our embossing, or in the embossing folder in our die cut machine, to make the back of the stocking. You will notice that I flipped it over so that it would emboss kind of the back side, if you will. That was on purpose so that it matches. Look how cute! Okay, now we want to make sure and ink up the back of the stocking. I'm not as concerned with the back. However, there are a few things I want to add here because my intention is to make this a hanging ornament. And that means that if you see it on the tree, it may show a little bit of the back, and we definitely don't want that to be ugly. I also made sure that when I die cut the cuff of the stocking that I flipped it over, flipped the paper over so that the correct side of the velvet paper would be showing. Now that we have the front and the back beautifully decorated, and I've glued the two halves together, just going around the sides and the bottom and the toe. I've left the top open so we can tuck things inside. I'm going to play around with some of the die cuts that I cut off camera. Now, when considering die cuts for this project, I knew I wanted to use the leaves and the berries that come with the stocking gift card holder, but I also want to use some additional greenery. The long leaf pines are my absolute favorite. I have used them so many times on so many projects, and I will continue to do so. These are not a new product from Simon Says Stamp. They were released sometime within the last few months, and I think they are an invaluable greenery to have in your stash for holiday crafting. I just think they are amazing. I've added a little bit of pine ink to my hollyberry leaves from the stocking gift card holder. I will be adding a little bit of ink to the long leaf pine sprigs as well with that same pine color of ink. My leaves for the little holly leaves, pardon me, from the gift card stocking, that was die cut from Hero Arts Palm Cardstock. The long leaf pines were die cut from Hero Arts Pesto. And I think those two colors look beautiful with the Simon Says Stamp Sage. So I'm laying kind of things out. We're looking to see how it's all looking. And I want to talk a little bit more about pulling products that go together. So we pulled the long leaf pines, and for the candy canes, if you're like me, you probably have a plethora of candy canes in your stash. I have little candy canes, outline candy canes, candy cane hearts, all of the candy canes, right? Well, when I was looking for what I wanted to use with this size and scale of this stocking, I kept coming back to these Spellbinders candy canes. They're really big, they're nice and long, and to tuck into this size of stocking, I feel like they work by, like, the size and scale just worked. You know what I mean? So I am going to be using those for my project today, but you could really tuck all kinds of fun things in here, whatever you like. I have die cut the base of my candy canes today from Speckled Eggshell. I wanted to have more of a natural looking candy cane instead of that pure white. I do candy canes in all kinds of different paper. I love experimenting, but I thought that the Speckled Eggshell might be a really fun choice. Like if you want to do more of a little bit of a primitive style candy cane, even on different kinds of projects, or, you know, completely different from this, it's a fun option. The red I'm using is my favorite holiday red. It's the Schoolhouse red cardstock from Simon Says Stamp. We're simply layering on all of the pieces, and I love using my embellishment wand to easily be able to pick up the pieces and put them in place. Now, something I want you to keep in mind while you're doing a candy cane like this, or anything that you're tucking into another element or behind another element. Yes, I did completely put together the candy canes. No, I probably didn't have to. If you want anything that's going to be hidden inside of something else or behind something else, I generally will kind of leave that off. I was just kind of having fun building these candy canes and didn't really think about it, but I did want to make mention of it here. If you're looking at it and thinking, oh my goodness, I can't believe you tucked all of that beautiful candy cane in there and did all that work, you could totally leave that step out. So once my candy canes are built, I do want to mention that I die cut another candy cane from the Speckled Eggshell, and I'm going to layer it on the back. I am not going to layer on the red pieces on the candy cane. I did this for a couple of reasons. I layered on another piece because it makes them much more stable and secure. I didn't really want to do or go through all the effort of the stripe. Now, if that bothers you, you totally could do that and do the red stripes on the back of your candy cane as well. And maybe if I hadn't completely put all the stripes on these candy canes, I might have been tempted to do that. But for me, just having the stability of that extra layer on the candy cane is going to be perfect. So you can see how they look tucked down into our stocking. I think they're going to be really, really cute. And then I wanted to show you those long leaf pine sprigs and how awesome those are going to be to fill in our stocking. I'm imagining this little stocking filled with beautiful holiday foliage and greenery, candy canes, a peppermint, and even a frosty snowflake. There are lots of amazing dies that you can choose from. Have fun with it and totally build, you know, something absolutely amazing. I did consider, but I didn't do it for this one. Maybe I'll do it in another video. The stitched gingerbread man from Simon Says Stamp would also look cute tucked into this stocking. Okay, I have die cut the Fanciful Joy, just the actual letters, not the shadow, from some red glitter Simon Says Stamp cardstock, and I'm playing around with it. And originally I thought I'd put it on the body of the stocking, and I felt like it just got lost. But by moving it up over that white velour, oh my word, look how that pops. Plus, if your name is Joy, that really works out for you, doesn't it? It's your stocking. No, I just thought it was a really beautiful way to decorate the cuff of that stocking. So we're going to grab a little liquid glue in our handy dandy Simon Says Stamp tweezers, and we are going to glue this down first. You'll notice I've also pulled out my peppermint die and a snowflake die. This beautiful snowflake is a new product from Simon Says Stamp called the Heartfelt Snowflake, and of course the peppermint is new too. Love these, and I think they're going to be the perfect finishing touches to tuck inside of our stocking. So there is the Joy, and I love that. So we're going to let that sit and dry for just a minute, and we're going to assemble our peppermint. I've die cut the peppermint from white cardstock and red glitter, and we are going to go ahead and assemble those pieces. From the Heartfelt Snowflake, I've die cut the snowflake twice. Much like the candy cane, I want that snowflake to have a little bit more stability to it because it's from a white glitter cardstock and it's probably not as thick as some other cardstocks out there. So it's a little flimsy, and by cutting it twice and placing them back to back, that image is going to have much more stability that way. Love our little peppermint. Oh, all the little red and white. There's our Heartfelt Snowflake. And I'm going to make sure all the little pieces are popped out using my little piercing tool here from Simon Says Stamp. And then we'll take our glue, and we want to glue these back to back. It is going to be perfect. This is a great way to add stability to die cuts like this. You could have also backed it with just a plain piece of white cardstock if you don't mind that. And again, like I said, I want the back of this to not be ugly, but I'm not really embellishing it. And then I'm going to just kind of manipulate that, try to make it match up as good as possible, and we are ready to start assembling. So in the corner of my stocking, before we put anything inside, I'm going to take a crocodile and punch a hole. I am making this an ornament, so I want to make sure that I have a hanger in place to hang this. Then we're going to start playing with the largest elements that stick inside the stocking before we glue anything down. I don't want to add glue yet because I want to be very conscious and aware that I have other things to tuck in here. And if I add glue in the wrong place, it's going to make trying to put things in very difficult. I do want to glue these things down because I don't want anything coming apart, shifting, moving, falling out. You know the drill. So once I'm happy with my two big candy canes and my snowflake, I'm going to carefully open up my stocking on the back, and I am going to just put some little glue down right inside of there. And then I'm going to quickly work on those long leaf pine sprigs because these are going to be tucked in and around our candy canes and snowflake. And I don't want that glue to completely dry in case some of them need to go there. You'll notice I haven't put any glue in the front of the stocking yet, so that's going to allow me to tuck in our peppermint and some greenery in front of the candy canes too. As I start adding in those long leaf pine sprigs, I will add bits of glue down inside, and I want to really make this nice and full with all of this beautiful greenery. So you'll notice some in the front, some back, and lots back behind, building that all up. Oh my goodness, look how beautiful this is looking already. I absolutely love this. You could make these as gift cards for your friends and family. You could customize them with die cut alphabet monograms. I think that would be so beautiful. You could use them as gift tags on packages. So many fun ways to utilize our paper crafting products for more than just card making. Okay, through that little hole there in the top of my stocking, I am going to thread through some of this silver metallic cord, and I'm going to add some Tim Holtz Jingle Bells to the two ends. You'll notice I picked some of the bigger size Jingle Bells because size and scale wise, they work perfect for this. I love that the package this year from Tim in his Ideology line includes some of these bigger bells because they work great if you're making home decor items or things like tags that you're not going to be sending through the mail or trying to place into like a scrapbook album or something. And they are perfect for crafting with. So I am going to hang these large bells from the top of my stocking. So from each end of my metallic cord, we're just going to tie the bell in place, and I'm securing it with about 2 or 3 knots. You can add a little glue to that once you're happy with it so that you don't have to worry about them coming loose and maybe falling off. So I'm going to maybe adjust that a little bit. I want them to be hanging pretty close, but just one maybe slightly longer than the other, and they do actually make a jingle sound, which is so much fun. Okay, now that we have our bells, I need to add my hanger. For the hanger on my stocking, I'm going to use the Simon Says Stamp red and white baker's twine. Now it was a little tricky to get through that hole because I didn't want to punch a super big hole in my project. So I am going to take the stylus end of my place and score tool, and I'm going to just push it through the top of there. You can use that for many more things than just scoring. And then I'm going to take the two ends, knot them, and trim up the ends of my baker's twine to make it nice and clean. I love that little red and white pop of color for my ornament hanger. Okay, we of course need ribbon. We always need a little ribbon, right? Let's make a triple bow using my favorite bow tool. This is a laser cut wood tool that I love using for perfect bow making. By wrapping it around 3 times, doing this figure 8, and then making a little loop and tying it tight, we are going to end up with the perfect triple loop bow the first time. I can't even tell you guys, there's no way I could make this on my own without a bow tool. Okay, once we have that, and I did use the 2.5-inch size, so it's a nice big bow, we are going to glue it and kind of hide that hole and where the hanger is up here at the top. So I want it to look like our beautiful red ribbon bow hanging down with the bells, and it's going to be beautiful. I always add a little bead of glue where I want that to go and then use my tweezers to hold it in place. Full disclosure, it did not want to dry on that velvet cardstock. So I did bust out my handy dandy hot glue gun and I did hot glue it in place off camera. I snipped up the ends of my ribbon and now I'm gluing my holly leaves in place kind of around that bow, and then we're going to add our red berries. Yes, it partially is covered by the bow, but I really want it to look like this super full stocking. And then we've tacked the little bow here, you know, near the little stocking hanger, I guess, if you will. So here we're going to pop those down. Perfect. Fluff it all up nice. Oh, I have an extra little piece of greenery. Well, we don't want that to go to waste. Let's go ahead and tuck that into our stocking as well. So I'm just going to kind of pop that over here a little bit, and that pulls the greenery over even more. Okay, now is our final finishing, and that is going to be adding a little bit of flocking to our greenery with some white grit paste. Using a palette knife, I am going to just take the tip of it and use as little bit of grit paste as possible. I am using the opaque grit paste. We're going to apply this to the tips of our leaves, around our candy canes, any of the long leaf pine sprigs, just tapping it on a little bit. We don't want to completely cover it. We just want the tips to have that snowy frosted look. I'll go around all of the edges like so. Allow that to completely dry. It doesn't take long at all. And we are going to end up with a beautiful finished stocking that is going to be absolutely gorgeous on your tree. Thank you so much for joining me today for this video for the Simon Says Stamp Making the Cut series on how to make paper ornaments with pizzazz. The supplies I used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube for your convenience. Thanks for watching and happy holidays!
Hi there, I'm Heidi, Simon's mama and founder at simonsaysstamp.com. Thank you so much for watching our video. If you like what you just saw, be sure to press the thumbs up and subscribe to see more great content.